Chapter 11 Bruce Bogtrotter and the Cake. "How can she get away with it?" Lavender said to Matilda. "Surely the children go home and tell their mothers and fathers. I know my father would raise terrific stink if I told him that the headmistress had grabbed me by the hair and swung me over the playground fence." "No, he wouldn't," Matilda said, "and I'll tell you why. He simply wouldn't believe you." "Of course he would." "He wouldn't," Matilda said, "and the reason is obvious. Your story would sound too ridiculous to be believed, and that's the Trunchbull's great secret." "What is?" Lavender asked. "Never do anything by halves. If you want to get away with it, be outrageous. Go the whole hog. Make sure everything you do is completely crazy. It's unbelievable. No parent is going to believe the pigtail stories, not in a million years. Mine wouldn't. They'd call me a liar." "In that case," Lavender said, "Amanda's mother isn't going to cut the pigtails off." "No, she isn't. Amanda will do it herself." "You see if she does. Do you think she's mad?" "You see if she doesn't." "Do you think she's mad?" Lavender asked. "Who?" "The Trunchbull." "No, I don't think she's mad," Matilda said, "but she's dangerous. Being at the school is like being in a cage with a cobra. You have to be very fast on your feet." They got another example of how dangerous the headmistress could be the very next day, during lunch. An announcement was made that the whole school should go into the assembly hall and be seated as soon as the meal was over. When the 250 or so boys and girls were settled down in the assembly room, the Trunchbull marched onto the platform. None of the other teachers came with her. She was carrying a riding crop in her right hand. She stood up there center stage in her green breeches with her legs apart, riding a crop in a hand and glaring at the sea of upturned faces before her. "What's going to happen?" Lavender whispered. "I don't know," Matilda whispered back. The whole school waited for what was coming next. "Bruce Bogtrotter," the Trunchbull barked suddenly. "Where is Bruce Bogtrotter?" A hand shot up among the seated children. "Come up here," the Trunchbull shouted, "and look smart about it." An 11-year-old boy with decidedly large and round stood up and walked briskly forward, and he climbed up onto the platform. "Stand over there," the Trunchbull ordered. The boy stood on one side. He looked nervous. He knew very well he wasn't up there to be presented with a prize. He was watching the headmistress with exceedingly wary eye, and she kept edging farther and farther away from her, with little shuffles on his feet, rather as a rat might be to edge away from a terrier, watching it from across the room. His plump, fat, flabby face turned gray and fearful with apprehension. His stockings hung about his ankles. "This clot," the headmistress said, pointing the ridiculous crop at him like a rapier. This black-headed fool Carbuncle, this poisonous puzzle you see before you, is none other than a disgusting criminal, a diseasen Underwood, a member of Mafia." "Who, me?" Bruce Bogtrotter said, looking genuinely puzzled. "A thief," the Trunchbull screamed, "a crooked pirate, a bridge hand, a rustler." "Steady on," the boy said. "I mean, dash it all, headmistress, do you deny this miserable little... Do you deny it, you miserable little gumboil, that you plead not guilty?" "I don't know what you're talking about," the boy said, more puzzled than ever. "I'll tell you what I'm talking about, you supposing little blister," the Trunchbull shouted. "Yesterday morning, during break, you sneaked like a serpent into my kitchen and stole and stole a slice of my private chocolate cake from my tea tray. That tea tray had just been prepared for me personally by the cook. It was my morning snack. And as for that cake, it was my own private stock. That was not boy's cake. You don't think for 1 minute I'm going to let you eat the filth I give you. That cake was made from real butter and real cream. Robber Bandit, that safe crack, the highway standing over it with socks round his ankles, stole it and ate it. I never did that, the boy explained, turning gray to white. Don't lie to me, bog trotter, barked the Trunchbull. My cook saw you. Once more she saw you eating it, the Trunchbull paused, to wipe a fleck from her lip.